like Mila, I've heard this name many times. I've been on her, definitely seen Instagram posts of her, stuff like that. Who is Mila again?
So Mila Jansen is a Dutch woman who is famous for inventing hash making equipment that really revolutionized hash making. So she was kind of a classic 70s hippie who went overland from Amsterdam in the late 60s all the way to India, through all these hash producing countries, alone with her small daughter, Milos, who's now kind of works with her. Amazing woman who also ended up working for the Grateful Dead and it's deep culture people, long time alternative culture. And Mila lived in India after that off and on for the rest of her adult life. I mean, for many, many years, and homeschooled children on the beaches of Goa. And then in the off season would take her children, she had many children, up into the mountains of North India to get out of the monsoon. And fascinating woman. And then later, ended up back in Amsterdam, always in the pot culture, working cultivation and stuff. Single mom, in and out of marriages and stuff, and kids, and, very into herbalism, and very amazing, interesting woman. Serious knitter. We love talking about. Anyway, so.
But she invented some.
She was sitting in front of a dryer one night, watching her kids' clothes dry, watching a tumble dryer, and she went oh, wait a minute, if I put my dry plant material in there and I replace the outside of that tumbler with screen and let the dry plant material, fall on its own weight on itself, and there's a pull-out drawer underneath, and wait a minute, if I put it out in the courtyard where it's 30 degrees and it's freezing cold, what we used to call pollen that we now call trichomes, they will all snap off and fall into this lower panel, right?
Right.
So she invented this thing that she called the Pollinator.
Oh, okay.
And she also invented the bags way before Bubble Man. This is a point of much contention. I respect him and love, I respect him very much. But she invented that stuff, the micron bags resting into each other. And when I was in my early 20s, I helped her do many demonstrations of this, the bucket technique with
the bag.
Yeah, with a drill with a paint stirrer on the end, and we would haul bags of ice.
So this is the 90s then?
90s, yeah.
Wow.
And she started making those. I remember she came to do a cannabis event in Paris, and I was her assistant, get the ice and throw the shit in the bucket bags and borrow a drill and show people and you catch this stuff. People were like, what is that stuff?
What is that?
Dirt?
Yeah.
And
especially if it's a really dry plant and it's it does have a brown.
I mean, the whole idea of fresh frozen and it was
that's so revolutionary. Now that you think back to that, wow, that was totally...
And people called it pollen. We used to call it pollen.
I know, I remember this, and I got into hash through Frenchie videos,
right?
Frenchie's instructional videos on YouTube, because I was just and then I got the bags and I got my little washing machine and all this whole thing and throwing ice in.
The tabletop washing machine.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Things like
Mila
that.
makes and sells those still.
Wow.
But her, the business is called Pollinator.
Yeah.
And her son had a shop where they sold grow equipment. It was sort of dispensary and shop. And she also had a place called the Hemp Hotel in Amsterdam that was revolutionary, an amazing hospitality spot in Amsterdam, where during the cups, the rooms would be triple sold out. Everybody wanted to stay there.
Right.
And it was all hemp sheets and hemp mattresses and hemp bathrobes and hemp soap and a beautiful bar and everything painted, and all the history of cannabis. Different rooms had murals, and I mean, it was the dream cool thing, but she was so ahead of her time.